Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we have some unsettling stories that might just make you rethink the safety of your own home. These are real-life experiences sent in by viewers, detailing strange encounters with the unknown. As always, if you have a story you'd like to share, feel free to send it in to the email in the description below. And don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoy the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. This first story comes from a viewer named Sarah, who shared an experience that happened when she was home alone one night. Sarah lived in an old house, tucked away in a quiet neighborhood. One evening, her parents went out for dinner, leaving her alone with her dog. Nothing unusual, until around 10 p.m. As Sarah sat in the living room, scrolling through her phone, her dog, a large Labrador, suddenly jumped up from his spot, growling softly toward the front door. Sarah thought he was just being protective, but when the dog's growling grew more intense, she began to get worried. She checked the front porch through the window but saw nothing. She thought maybe a neighbor had dropped by or someone was walking by. But then, she heard it. A soft knock at the door, 2 knocks, then a pause, followed by 2 more. Sarah was confused. She didn't know who could be out there, as she hadn't been expecting anyone. The dog was now barking aggressively, pacing back and forth. Feeling uneasy, Sarah grabbed a flashlight and cautiously opened the door, only to find nothing. Not a single person in sight. She looked up and down the street, and still, there was no one, just the sound of the wind rustling the leaves. She quickly closed the door, locking it behind her. But as she turned to go back to the living room, she swore she saw something, or someone, standing at the end of her hallway, just beyond the light. Her heart raced, but after a few moments, it disappeared. She tried to brush it off, but the rest of the night, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching her. This next story comes from a viewer named Jake, who had an experience that still haunts him to this day. It happened while he was on a road trip with his friends. They were driving through a small, remote town late at night, hoping to get to their destination before it got too late. The streets were empty, and there weren't many lights on, which gave the town an eerie, deserted feel. As they passed through a particularly quiet stretch of road, Jake noticed a figure standing by the side of the road, staring at them. At first, he thought it was just a person waiting for a ride, but as they drove closer, he realized it wasn't. It was a man, standing perfectly still, staring into the vehicle as they drove past. His eyes were wide open, his expression blank, and his clothes appeared outdated, almost like something from decades ago. Jake's friend, who was driving, slowed down a bit as they passed, just to make sure they weren't imagining things. But when they looked back in the rearview mirror, the man wasn't there anymore. It wasn't that he had moved, he simply wasn't there at all. No movement, no trace of him. Shaken, Jake tried to brush it off, but as they continued on the road, things began to feel wrong. The sky grew darker, and an unsettling silence fell over the car. Then, about 20 minutes later, they saw the same figure standing on the side of the road again, this time even closer. But Jake's friend swore that he hadn't taken any turns or exits to get there. They shouldn't have passed through that area again. This time, they sped up, terrified of what they were seeing, but as they drove away, Jake said the figure slowly raised its hand, almost as if waving them goodbye. Our final story tonight comes from a viewer named Hannah. She sent this in a few weeks ago, and it's a bit different from the others. This story isn't about something you can see or hear, it's about something that watches. Hannah recently moved into an apartment in a large building in the city. It was a great deal, and everything seemed perfect, until strange things started happening. At first, it was just small things. Her keys would be in places she didn't remember putting them, and once, she found her front door wide open, despite locking it before leaving. But then, things escalated. One night, after a long day of work, Hannah got home to find her living room lamp on. She knew she had turned it off before leaving that morning. She figured it was just a mistake, maybe she hadn't fully turned it off, but she felt uneasy about it. That night, she slept with her bedroom door locked, which she had never done before. The next day, it happened again. The lamp was on, and this time, her television remote was placed precisely in the middle of the coffee table, even though she always kept it on the couch next to her. That night, she heard something, faint, like a whispering sound, but she couldn't figure out where it was coming from. It wasn't until she mentioned it to a neighbor that she learned the apartment had once been rented by someone who had disappeared without a trace. No one knew what happened to them, but the strange occurrences seemed to follow. Hannah moved out a few months later, but she still swears she can feel eyes on her when she's alone. That's it for tonight's stories. I hope you all enjoyed them. Or maybe, I should say, I hope you didn't. Remember, sometimes the things that haunt us aren't always visible, and the scariest things can often go unnoticed. If you enjoyed tonight's video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more chilling tales. Until next time, stay safe. And stay alert.